Hey, I figured it was time to have a little more serious of a blog entry. And there's this passage that I've known, you've known for years, but God really opened up my eyes to it last week, which is Matthew 25, verse 21, where it says, His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things." And it's always been my heart's desire, and I shouldn't say always, but for many years it's been my heart's desire that God at the end of my life would say, "Well done." But the thing I never noticed about this passage is it says that you've been faithful with a few things, I'll put you in charge of many things. And I thought about that, how that's God's pattern, is if you're faithful in the little things, then he'll put you in charge of the big things. And there are so many people that I meet nowadays that are ready to do the huge things, go out, change the world, sacrifice their lives and everything else. In fact, it fires them up to do those things. But what God teaches us in that passage is there's a principle here. Unless we're faithful with the little things, he's not going to entrust us with big things. In other words, people say, I'll go overseas, I'll rescue kids, I'll do whatever. Okay, great, but will you work hard at your job? Will you study hard at your school? Will you be faithful to ministering to the guy that's next to you in class? Will you talk to your next door neighbor? Will you start giving what God's called you to give while you're here? Will you stop watching so much television, not spend so much time on the internet, whatever it may be? And if we're not doing those little things, who are we to think that God's going to entrust huge things to us? Because Jesus says that's not my pattern. He says, if you're faithful in the little things, I'll put you in charge of big things. And he's talking about the things from earth in comparison to the things in heaven that are going to be so much bigger. But I think there's absolutely a principle here that I got to watch the way I treat my kids, the way I treat my wife, and everything today, and do it diligently, faithfully, and then God will give me bigger things to do. So those are my deep thoughts for today.